Hi, and welcome to the introduction to the book. Let me give you a little background about the introduction and how it came about in the book. I had bought my manuscript together and had it edited, and then I had given out a couple of copies to a few friends to have them read it to see what they felt about the manuscript. And the feedback I got was excellent feedback. And one of the more important parts of the feedback was from a young lady, and what she said was that the book was a great book. She loved the book, but it was as if she abruptly came into the book. You know, there was no entrance into the book so that you kind of gracefully got into the flow of the reading. It was just like, bam, you're right there. So what I did was I stepped back and I thought about what she said, and I came up with an introduction. And it wasn't as if I had planned this particular introduction, because remember, the book, the manuscript, for all intents and purposes, had been written already. So the introduction came as a natural flow of life, because as you'll see, it was captured in the moment. And it was captured on June 13th, 2009 at 12:48 p.m. and it went as such. It's Saturday afternoon. My visit with my son yesterday was very intense. It may have had something to do with my lack of sleep before driving up to see him. Also, my son told me he met someone I grew up with who has been locked up since 1976. When I thought about over 30 years, I thought about how my son has been locked up since the mid-90s. That's quite a lot of years already. And there's a possibility of quite a few more years to go before a chance of parole. Yes, that's many years behind bars, many years in a cage. What shocked me was the loss. The loss of freedom, the loss of life for them and their victims, the loss of the future. God knows I was wild growing up, but when a life is taken, you take everything a person has and will ever get. You also surrender everything you have and are ever going to have. Your contact with the outside world, interacting freely with your family, loved ones, is forever limited to a visit, maybe every week if you're lucky. In a room for maybe 6 hours with a crowd of others locked up trying to do the same thing with their loved ones, if you're lucky. As a prisoner, you hear the news of those you've known as they pass away and experience the feelings of loss from yourself, alone in your grief. You watch your kids, your nieces and nephews, your cousins grow up through letters, pictures they send, and from what you hear on visits. And when all the peers on the outside are dead and gone, you get to finish out your life alone in a cell with your memories. It didn't have to be that way. That's what happened to me emotionally yesterday after I left the visit, seeing my young, strong, beautiful son. It's called grief. I think of all that I've come to realize over the past 3.5 years and wonder how different life would have been for me, him, the victims, and their families had I known then what I know now. So I went home and took a much-needed nap after my visit. When I woke up, I went to a meeting. While talking to a woman, she shared how she had to leave early because she received an important call. Her nephew had been shot 6 times and was being rushed to the hospital. Someone else told me just a few days earlier, her nephew murdered his girlfriend and the police killed him at the scene. Sometimes life-on-life terrors can get very heavy on my spirit. Thank you.